Yes, yes, stand, clap, celebrate. Wow! What we are about to see as your next Vice President, Reverend Dr. CHAMPvinchi Nicholas Lee Sutton in Part 91. You done, son, but we ain't done, because E equals MC squared is the answer to everything. Beside everything internal, everything external is we equals JC squared. And those two come to combine to raise up both spiritual health and physiological health and leadership principalities, and and teaching principalities and preaching principalities. And it may sound scary at first, that formula, but let me break it down simple for you. Let us pray. Dear Heavenly Father, thank you for today. Thank you for Part 91. Woo! I wonder sometimes why, during these 91 parts, God, I've looked back and I've been like, was I even there? Was Nicholas even there? My faith was here. My soul was here. But God, let the world know that these answers came from you. As if mighty angel wings have been put upon me. As if a godly brain has been installed inside of me. As if the heart of Jesus pounds in front of me. As if the winds and the lungs and the breath of God beat within me. As if the bread of life digests inside of me. As the blood of Jesus pumps through my veins. As the feet that carry me. As the legs that walk without growing weary. Oh, as the pelvic to twist and turn. Oh, as the ribs where woman was created out of. Lord, thank you for this dynamic body with ears to hear and eyes to see. This book that we think's a mystery, Lord, let them know it's not a mystery. It's a formula. It's a formula. And let today's message help us understand that what you meant by the sword being in the word is that we equal JC squared. And it's a sowing and a threading and a harvesting technique, not a linear equation of Pharaoh, or not a linear equation as we currently see it. Lord, thank you for all the prophecies. I didn't even know there were prophecies. Thank you for not letting me know there were prophecies while there were prophecies. But the line that we drew in the rock in time, we've now become three-dimensional. This is so cool. We've entered into an entire new dimension, and we are just at the ground stage of it. And so as things burn away, what happens when things burn away? It grows new growth and new ideas. Without the pruning, new fruit can't come. Lord, thank you for this message. Thank you for your son. Thank you for humans. Thank you for humans too. God, thank you for the humans. I thank you for us. I thank you for liking us the most. God, thank you for all of these elements. All of these elements you say that we're in your hand and you're inside of us. And we have these elements. So no force of evil can overtake us. But when there was a balance of E, energy, equaling mass, C squared in motion, that the electrons, the protons, and the neutrons of the spinning matrix world, Lord, may these combinations come together today for us to uplift new ideas, to reverse the curse, and let us know that it is not us trying to get to you, that it is not us trying to get to outer space, but it is you pulling us to you, and it is space pulling us out there. And with a message like that, Lord, I ask that you pull them in today and let them feel rest. Lord, let this message heal most cancer, if not all. Let this message just destroy and yank, put the Convid in a cocoon inside of the bodies, Lord. May these messages replicate through. for the fruits of the abundance of the people. I am so glad that although I wait, very irritated, Lord, my gifts will come last. Use this message to bless the people, and I know you will reward me greatly afterwards. May the President of the United States, the leader of the world, his task force, and all of his people support me in this message. May all the preachers out there, may the people and the families at home. It's not that difficult of a concept if we dial the microscope back out. Look from God's eyes upon this message today. And in Jesus Christ's mighty, powerful name, we have a new day. Amen. All right. All right, let's just go ahead and get the national or Pledge of Allegiance in. I like calling it national anthem. I guess that's a clue. My body wants to sing that soon, but not today. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to this world for which we stand, one nation, all colors, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Maybe even hold a finger up so we remember there's a God up there, and that united we are all one. Okay, so today I have a world-changing, and I'll gladly say this, with excitement, exhortation, expectation of all these crazy little gimmicks that God keeps giving me to show through my hand of how these things work. I just hope this message comes through today. I'm going to try to keep it short because it's going to seem to your system at first probably more complicated, and it's going to throw some fear. So I'm hoping that I can keep the message short enough that you can watch it a couple times if you needed to, or you could watch it and really think about it afterwards. But we'll see, because he's the one guiding me and leading me, so it's his watch. So no matter what I want, he's going to do what he wants to do through me on this mountain. And for him, I thank him for that. We're going to save the Bible for the end. We're going to have a new thing we're going to do with the Bible. And it's going to all wrap into the same message. Thank you, President Trump. Thank you for watching in. Task Force, thank you. I just want to let you guys know, and the whole world to know. Look, first of all, I didn't vote for President Trump, and I was wrong. But it was because my mind had been given the molecules of thinking one way. And other people have been given the molecules and the trainings to think another way. But when we bring these two together, it's the woven fabric of mankind, of America, Republicans and Democrats. And it's the truth of the matter is how do we get these to fly together? Because when one flies too much, it tilts the system. When the other flies too much, it tilts the system, but both are important. And just like that, on the brain is right now, the whole world and the people who have ran it in the past, and not mad at these people, but the principalities and systems that run us have bucked up. They've bucked up. All right? So what we do in this fashion is when it's time to get bucked, we need balance on both sides. So what we are going to do today is combine this quantum approach. Don't let these words scare you, because I'm going to simplify them. This is quantum physics and neuroscience and healing for dummies. I'm just kidding. For eagles. That's right. So your minds wake up. We got to bounce around, get more energy flowing, so these lungs pump, so this heart rate, so everybody get up. MAGA motherfucker, USA, MAGA motherfucker, USA, MAGA motherfucker, we must pray, MAGA motherfucker, USA. Right now we've been in this Jabez and Jezebel, so in other words, anger, fear, doubt, and sorrow. We've been in this hierarchy and slave system for too long, and we've been given these three things: faith, hope, and love. Thought, awareness, and focus. So what I want to do is combine these things in a way that this may become some sort of law. I'm going to speak from what we consider to be law of physics and a couple different things. And I'm not sure, but I got a feeling that this is going to resonate for hundreds and hundreds of years and hold up. So what we need combined through leadership, through science, through medicine, through spirituality, through the whole combined matrix of all the things that are on the earth. Because right now we think too linear. And what that means is, I think this is the one way to get from here to here, here to here. Like for instance, like the CNN linear approach is they will find a piece of data such as, what if we would have gone back here and had more masks then, sir? And that's a good thing to do, but too much of that makes the whole world feel like this. All right, now the Fox News on the other side of it is kind of like, well, if those stupid Democrats wouldn't have been holding everybody up in the impeachment trial, this fake impeachment trial, all the fake, other stuff, then maybe we could have let President Trump have the leadership that he's displaying now, which is amazing, and that freedom to be able to work with both parties. But I'm glad we're past that. So the good parts of those fake news things is that we have a clear path to run forward with. All right, but still the Republican view has been like those slow people over here. So what we have is one side cheering for business and for staying strong, the other side cheering for the love of mankind and for loving one another and sharing, which both concepts are how this works. And it's actually how the creation of everything works. And so all of these different segments of society, the churches, the medical, all of these things. This is why we need me in leadership, because I can see all these things. It may just look like I'm doing my fingers right here, but if I were to draw a design, I could tell you what's on each one of them. All right, that's going to be too complicated for us right now. But we have these systems that work in every town, everywhere, okay? And right now we're looking at one linear curve, as the president does. I love it. But sir, remember yesterday I said I'm going to make that curve that goes like this, I'm going to make it. Okay, and I want to say this, that I've been calling for younger governments and for younger people to step up. So I want to say, Mr. President Trump, thank you again for bringing Mr. Kushner out. Like, I know he's family, and I know we do got to kind of keep an eye on those kind of things when you don't want too much condensed power, and I'll tell you why on that as well right now. But it was so good to see Jared Kushner up there, and he did a really good job. But I'm going to tell you, don't get stunted. He's not ready for pure out front leadership yet, because there's still something that your family has gone through a lot. And although you are strong because you're the fruit that they're propelling up, but I still see some pain in a lot of your family, and I see some in him. And that's not to discard him. No, I'm here to help. I'm not a complainer. But I would love to help your family recover from the attacks that they've been under. And many politicians need this kind of care and attention, but so do all Americans. But I just want to say it's great to see Mr. Kushner up there, but Mr. Kushner, feel more confident about yourself. All right? You're there for a reason, and I know you have a lot of haters and stuff like that, but man, this comes from somebody who didn't even vote for President Trump. So I'm cheering for you, but man, I like you being there, but be more confident. I like it, so bring it forward. All right, so that's why Mr. President Trump is that when you have too much condensed power in your own family just right there, which I know all the leakers, I would have been so paranoid. But when you have too much of that right there, then those people have extra bonds, molecular bonds, and I'm going to just explain all this, but they have too many bonds, the codependency bonds. The molecules, the way we bond together, the way corona bonds to a lung, the way it gets into some people, and the way some people it doesn't affect, like yourself and I, and then most people it does affect in some different ways. Okay, so how do we get people to a better place of health, mindset, spirituality, boom, while still paying attention to making sure we're not leaving the poor out and keep making people sad, and to make sure that we're staying strong? How do we unite that? And it is in the message of E equals MC squared. Now, pause. Everybody take a big deep breath. If you got some water, grab it, because when I just say that, we've overpopularized that without somebody being able to explain it in a more simple way. So before that scares you, Albert Einstein, it's the formula, or it's his definition of the law of relativity. Okay, so what is what, and what makes these different systems bounce together? All things, because we're all made in the design from God in his image. So if we can figure out what this image is and capture it through measurements and keep plugging it into the same formula, then we will continue to repeat what God wants us to do. But if these systems get too much negativity, electrons, or get too overconfident, protons, then these systems begin to tilt. And that's when something that God designs begins to spin out of control. And that's when you'll see stars explode. That's when you'll see human systems get cancer. That's when you'll see corona take over someone's body instead of the body pushing it out like it should. Or if it attacks us, how we don't survive through it. And so what we have to do is look at this as a formula that can be applied in other ways. So let me explain the formula a little bit, and then I'll move forward. Drinking water, part of the E equals MC squared. My molecules, so my brain operates appropriately. I could tell by the signals it was giving me that I need this, and therefore I get back to a balanced state and deliver a message like this. Okay, so in the formula of E, energy. What kind of energy do we want? What kind of energy do we want in leadership? What kind of energy do we want? Mr. Kushner, great point. I think everybody needs to pay attention to what he said. He made one of the best points ever. He said, well, what you're looking at here and what you need to be voting on in November is people that can have highly intelligent, efficient, loving, in other words, a fully balanced system that can take all things into consideration in times of crisis. And I mean, that's kind of the worst case scenario, but this November, you need to be putting some younger people in. We need to be getting more technologically advanced. We need to be getting unified. Anybody not heading in that direction of get rid of the old systems to where Republicans, independents, and Democrats come together? But that starts, Mr. President, with the RIP system first. So start with Republicans and independents, myself, people like me and Bernie's kind of crew, for peace and profits. Those two things, peace and profits at the same time. So we have a RIP system. We're gonna rip the old system out by getting enough popularity and voting together. We can do this by one handshake, me coming in. All right, but then we got to get the rest of the crew at some point. Okay, so the E equals energy. So, sir, in all things of energy, whether it be leadership, whether it be how do you run the United States for the next 4 years? So I've been showing this. So this is also brain states. Alpha 8 to 12, 4 to 7. So this is the neutral state, not neutral, like not doing anything, neutral observing from a God standpoint. And then we have the slow it down, 4 to 7 hertz, where it's like, it's like, what if? So we have the, that's you, sir, that's you, sir. This is task force. Like you slow down, like it's kind of like, things are going wrong. What do we do? Mike Pence, he's got the perfect energy for that role. The perfect energy for that. He's a calm, cool, collective person. Now, he's not going to excite you up out of your seat. But in times of crisis, he's going to stay right there in that nice 7 hertz level. And 7 hertz, and he stands like perfectly in the leadership role, but for the past. And task force, congratulations. You're no longer the GD task force, the grade digging task force. You're now the AD task force. The AD task force that dealt with systems from AD time period that existed. But we're now into the JC. This is the big bang has occurred. So you're now the AD task force. So, Mr. President, when we look to the past, when we go, oh, what happened in the past? Oh, what are we going to do to think about this? That's the current kind of structure that we're in. It is all about, it's finally we have a leader, but before it was all like this. And then you showed up, and now we have a leader, okay? So here's what we're looking at. This is the atom, the cellular atom, okay? The overall wrapping of it, right? Okay? And let's call these electrodes, or electrons, okay? Negative energy. And let's call these protons, okay? All right, so this is faith, hope, love. Call these protons. Just for this example. Now, scientists, back up. Get off me for a minute, all right? So, when we have these three, and we're like, oh, yeah, we're taking off. Oh, yeah, taking off. And then something like Convid comes in and begins to eat us up because we forgot to pay attention to these alert systems. But in today's times, we have over-alert systems, the sadness of CNN, the anger of Fox. And so this is how we're going. We're going, rah, rah, rah. People are dying, call 911. We need help. Go arrest those people that need help. You know, I mean, look at Judge TV. USA 911, TV everywhere. It's so exciting. So, sir, now that we have you like this. This is how we're going to get the Eagles of America to fly. So you have task force now, AD and force. You have part of this one growing. I saw Mr. Kushner. He's part of this. This is the American people and the forward. This is the future force. So we have CNN over here. We have Fox. We have you. We have AD task force. But we need JC force. This is the beta. This is the drive force. This is where the people that are holding the testosterone in America, or the good balance brains, men or women in America, this is us over here. But right now, we don't have a voice. The future does not have a voice. We're tilted like this, okay? All right? And so I am the one that feels this roll right here and goes, doop, because this same message, these 5 things that we need, as annoying as CNN is, and as angry as Fox is, they do bring up the points. And I love how you've been able to calmly address these points lately, sir. You're like, I hear y'all talking about this, but we need to talk about this. Yes, well done. Or, these guys over here even like calling out Rubio. Call them out. Bring in the gator. Or it might be the summer of the white shark. I might be the white shark. I kind of like that one too. All right, so how does this all fit? And how does this fit the E equals MC squared? Okay? So, energy, all things are energy. Let's go team. You suck. Let's go team. Different forms of energy. Protons, neutrons, electrons. Too many electrons get up like this and we start spinning around and it creates a black hole. It sucks down all good things into a black hole, and the center of cellular structure kind of like begins to break down, and it just begins to replicate itself on its outer zones like a cancer. It's still replicating, but it's pulling particles apart and dispersing them up in the air like this. Okay, so these electrons, we've gotten too electroned up. There might be something into the technological forces that are disturbing electron activity without enough protons to balance it. So the energy equals M, mass. So it can be the mass of this bottle, and I'm like, boom, and everything in it starts to splash around, okay? But the cool thing is, this bottle, with things in motion, while things are in motion, actually has a lighter weight. So things being properly in motion keep this orbited, which is kind of how the planets work, and this continuum. But if it starts to lean one way or starts to have one force too much, then it starts to get out of order. Then we got to add some of this back. And then we got to add some of this back. And this is how our economy and how our country has been going. But in reality, that's still a linear look. Energy, what energy do we need to solve problems? The Convid, cancer, all of them. What energy do we need just to lead? To lead America's economy, to lead on TV, to lead the flash rates of the TVs, to lead in the message. Like, sir, we must have a limit upon how much negativity that a news channel can give, because it's unhealthy for our systems. It's too much of this on CNN, and it's too much of this on Fox. And for a prime time example, and why I'd be great at filling in on prime time, Chris Kuma will get well, man. But even at the same time, Kuma, what happens to these 5 structures? So understand, you're probably going to be going through this. So I don't want you to look back in 2 weeks and be like, man, that was a little bit too whiny there. Because when the brain, let's say the lungs over here, get these toxins in and it squeezes together, so then a lot of slow wave kicks in. And if you'll notice, Kumo's more of a balanced reporter on CNN, but if you'll notice, while he's sick, I saw it instantly. He's going to be like every answer goes back to, but what do you think about Mr. Trump? And I like Kumo. But in a sadness and an unhealthy body, when a virus gets in you, and Mr. Kumo, the same way that Convid virus gets into your lungs, the negative, sad reporting of the news gets into our eyes and into our minds. And so the same thing that's breaking your lungs down, that's squeezing you together. I had it in the fall. I know what it feels like. And Mr. Trump, what about those of us that had it in the fall that can link all of our systems to it? Are we also medically covered? I got a bill for like $13,000 or $15,000 right now because I had it in the fall. All right, anyways, Kumo, back to the message, and I would like to see you transform back into a balance as you get well through this. So as you get sick, it's kind of like a baby. When it's tired, oh man, I just feel more body and the Mr. Trump. You know, I'm surrounded by other CNN reporters, and we're so sad up there, and I'm a positive person, but now I'm sick, and my legs don't feel good, and, you know, I did think it was cool that he showed a device, a pulsation, oxygen pulsation device on his finger, which mixes right into this message of E equals MC squared. And he knows that when that pulse rate of his oxygen inside of him that he was showing everybody on national TV is at an E equals MC squared in a balanced range, that he knows that there isn't something wrong with the body, which goes back to my detect, protect, and lead, and love, or detect, protect, and love. So what Chris was doing on accident is actually the message I'm delivering today about when energy in every part of everything is equal to mass C squared. And let's think about C squared as the yeses and the nos, all right? The yeses and the nos as they fly together. The yeses and the nos of every man. Yes, pollution went in me, that's bad, or yes, good oxygen went in me. Yes, good things went in my eyes that I saw on TV. No, they didn't. All right, this is what it is. That's that C squared. So when energy is equal to our mass times the negativity or the positivity that's coming into us like this, all right, at all times, when that gets out of range, the systems in here that really matter, the three, the mind, the heart, and the lungs, get out of kilter, and those are the three main things that are going to come under attack for all the rest of the body, whether it be through food and everything else. But the mind, all right, so the mass, energy, our energy, how we feel, how we are going to feel in a moment will be determined. All right, so now we're doing that. E equals this, equals my mass on the continuance exponential. So my mass with the calculations of what's going on in my everyday life. So we are more of a probability quantum creature and world and understanding than we are on a linear level. Okay, let me break that down into leadership, and then I'm gonna get right into the preachers, because y'all know I like, woo! All right. All right, so for instance, leadership. All right, we're talking about this quantum. So right now, President Trump, and when he comes forward to address the nation on the coronavirus task force, and sure, that's great. I love how you guys are doing 2 hours, but it needs to be 3 hours. I need to be that third hour. And myself and some other really highly intelligent people will field questions from the creative culture of the world to figure out what these problems are, and we'll drive the energy into them. So what do I mean by that? How does that come back into the E equals MC squared? Okay, so and to what we're missing right here. So right now, when you come on air on task force, the world is getting an awesome leader, literally, like neutralized, calm. You've made it through those tough times. You've just paid off the Democrats and the Republicans. So even these guys are like, we love the Donald. We love the Donald. So that's good. You got them right where you want them. You got them leaning towards you. And that's what a good leader does, just like God. All right? So E equals MC squared showed two things, and calm down, Christians, because what I'm about to say, you're not going to like the first part. But it explained two things, which to me leads to the proof of God. So E equals MC squared explained the Big Bang, the beginning, and people are like, wait, that Big Bang theory, I don't agree with it. Well, for there to be a collision, there had to be two things. And for there to be two things mean there had to be one thing, and that thing was God. And so, yes, the God thing still happens in this. If you don't believe in collisions, then look at what happens when the collision of corona hits your lungs, okay? So, Big Bang, boom, what happens then? These things go into motion. This E equals MC squared. So it shows us two things. It shows us the beginning, and it shows us the end. Now, that's linear, the way we look at it. But what we have seen through E equals MC squared is that first creation that God made. Not only did he make it, but it begins to, the E equals MC squared shows a funnel effect of life growing outwardly which is why the galaxies are expanding. And from a spiritual standpoint, I think this is very hopeful. And from a space exploration standpoint, we've been thinking about life in the same military type way. Like, we don't like them, boom. You know, how do we not get killed? We cry hard enough. They don't kill us. We'll look so sad. They're natural detection. They're natural protection devices. Weed out the bad with violence and look so innocent and sad that we don't move anywhere. It's the cops and robbers. And we've been thinking that that's the way you control things in life. But that does not replicate, much like the preachers that just like to hit the whip with everybody. And they're still just doing, they're doing as much bad as the drug that the people are addicted to doing by leading like that. Point it out, show that it makes you sad, and then give I am, what if, show love techniques. So right now as the task force and President Trump meet in front of the nation and in front of the world, right now you guys have CNN in there, you have Fox in there, you have yourself leading like the amazing leader you are. You have the task force, Mr. Pence and Carson, and but your task force, you got to admit, they're a little bit, they're not low energy like Jeb was, although Jeb talked about the brain. Attaboy, Jeb. It's kind of funny. Jeb talked about the brain and Carson does housing. But anyways, that's where that low energy needs to be put in drive, sir. So right now, you're operating the world like this, you know? You've strengthened two parts of this E equals MC squared. All right, because here's your electrons, and here's your proton, or you're the atom, here's a proton, positive things you have going on, but you don't have that drive force for the future. And this is what's going to make America go from doing like this to like this. So from going like dying to going like this to praising. That's what's going to get us from being handcuffed to quarantine to back to church to praising God. And these same things, sir, all things need to be set up around this formula. As I've said, these are parts of 3s, parts of 6, parts of 9s, and everything we're doing. So in leadership, so the way we should approach and the way news channels need to be held accountable, and Chris Cuomo, your inside internal lesson that makes you just a little bit more sad. Don Lemon looks at you through the glass like an animal. Like an animal. But that's what I'm saying. So inside, if we do a brain map on Chris while he was going through that, or anybody, which is just like his pulsation device on his finger alerts him, oxygen going down. If we had mind equipment on him, it would show slow wave going up, fast wave going down, and what's going to happen. So when the molecules, the energy, so the mass, when it gets too much of the slow stuff, the sad stuff, the electrons, or the angry stuff, either way, because the slow stuff has to react like this to try to get the molecule back into place. So what we need is an appropriate amount of what could make us angry in life, what could make us sad. I am inside of this, sir. In terms of medicine, in terms of everything, we have all the elements in the world, okay? So we have everything we need. You have people looking at death, but I need at least 1 million people who have done the same kind of brain training technologies, because not everybody's blessed with the same genetics we have, sir, okay? But we can even take our own genetics of very blessed people, but we need at least 1 million people who are on my equipment, who are already highly intelligent. We keep trying to always focus on saving the dead, and that's why we don't ever get into the future. We got to focus on this class. This is the class of people, the intelligent, you know, the drive force, America's workforce. This is the voice of America right here that's missing from, that's truly missing. We're not elitists. We're not from y'all's class. We need a voice of America right here up there with you guys. And we need 3 hours, because right now we're only getting the I am, we feel strong, we have a great leader. We're getting the sadness, the AD task force. We got the sad people, CNN, the angry people, but we don't have the American voice on there. And that's what my fucking Make America Fun and Cool Again happens right here, is when you have a leader like me, you know, the real CHAMPvinchi, because all the other Slim Shadys, please stand up. Please stand up. And they're already standing up. And they're standing up in Congress, and they're standing up in the Senate. And I know you can't drain the swamp when there's that much of a clog at the drain. So that's why you got to sometimes bring the gator in, or the tiger, the white tiger shark that's coming to town. So I'm going to keep explaining this a little bit more, but I'm getting kind of funny, so that means I better wrap it up. All right, so from a spiritual standpoint, your sermons should be set up to point out what can make us sad, what can make us angry or make other people angry, inside, outside, do that way. Then we have to know that we are capable. What if we look at it a different way? And as each other, how do we go help those people? So it's like this. It's like, yeah, that's bad. Yeah, we see somebody in trouble. The I am is still in control. We are still America. We are still number one. We are still the tallest. All right. Well, what if we lean on some thoughtful people, or, what if we lean on the wisdom from the past? That's fine, but we must go into the future. And these are the 5 things that keep us from going from the ninja to the all-American backhand. Because we need to get our hands back, because we need to lay hands on people. And preachers, the laying of the hand, what that does, it actually, in these same ways, the electrical forces, so there's something that rolls naturally through us that when we laying of hands, and this is so important, President Trump, is the laying of hands is important because it's an electrical transfer. And so this E energy equals M, your masses. So you need your masses, the masses of Americans, the masses of your congregation, the masses of your family at home, the masses of the people that work for you, the masses of the people that work around you. We are mass. So we are masses of things. We are masses of units. So for our continuum, the C, or for Christians, for our Christ to exponentiate, it means instead of energy is, if you don't believe in the spiritual world, then it would be I, and that's the way you should roll. But for the Christians, it's we equal Jesus Christ squared, which means that we must keep our I am, the atom, the first man, the God, the I am, the atom. We must keep him remembered. We are, I am, straight from him to here. We must remember that. That kind of confidence must be the tallest part of us. Because here, that it says we can do all things through him, right? And in the Bible, it says, fear not, pastors. That is, and to the future, JC, nation, to the future. That is not a suggestion. That is not something that we try to carry. Oh my gosh, it's a prophecy for the fact that one day we're going to have lit technology, kind of like the cancer only focuses on the falling of people. We need to work on the growing of people, okay? And the growing of people helps this state of balance equal out. You want less people to fall into these categories of sickness and death? Add health. Add health. Okay? And so how is this working in the spiritual world? All right? We need to transfer a lot of the money. Like, President Trump, we can't beat the Cancer Institute until the Brain Institute has more money than the Cancer Institute. Because it has to make more money to be a more predominant thing, because it is this that oversees that. And that may be the cancer that's disrupting in there. But we must have these 3 things, sir, and to the scientists and to the doctors out there and to the forward kind of thinkers. It is about the mind, the hearts, and the lungs. And this is biblical too. So you got to renew your mind. We are of God. We can. I am. Yes, we can. Renew that. Renew that. But then it says, the words come from your heart. So when you stop to say, what if? When you look at a situation and say, what's going on that? How are we going to judge that? You can either fall into the sadness, or you can jump to a Pharaoh and point a finger back at him. But what God wants us to do, this is what's missing, is we have to go show the love to the people. So we have to have balanced approaches for balanced parts of the brain. We can't be linear, saying, well, I don't think we can do this. That's always the wrong answer. Okay, well, let's look at it in a different perspective. How can we use that time or energy on these linear lines that you're using to create more of this? All right, I'm confusing people probably at this point. Let me get more simple. Okay. So your congregation or the American people or the world, as we're doing this, behind the scenes, the way this should be approached, and also, sir, in technological flash rates of phones, we need PT, protect our technologies. These flash rates are crazy. Also, the information, like the American people are sick by what we see on CNN. So in your 60 minutes of time, make sure you don't have more than this much sadness, more in proportion to this much joy, care, and love. You need this much proportions of it in every hour of time. So pastors, you can break this down to people, how they do their days, how they do their hours, how they do it. It's yours to have. So energy, how your people will feel, and we want them to feel as Christ felt, and like that Bible says. And it's not a suggestion, don't fear. It's not a suggestion to go love. It is written. It is word. It is what we're supposed to do. And when we don't complete the things of faith, hope, and love, and God in heaven, Jesus on a cross, but yes, we must go love our brothers. These three things, when they get out of order, that's when we run into this. And those three things inside of our body are represented by our minds, our hearts, and our lungs. So actually, President Trump, I need something that's 3 to 5 times bigger so we can add the gut and the spinal cord to all of this, to where we get those 5 things. If we maximize how to balance those 5 things together, we will maximize human behavior. So from a spiritual standpoint, the Big Bang, boom, it explains that. So boom, God said there is. There you go. But now it says God says eternal, right? That's the same thing E equals MC squared equals. And I think this is very encouraging for mankind, whether you just look at the particles pulling this way. But for so long, we've been looking at how to, in the same way, the same angle of how we throw medicines into a body to do something, we might be able to pull them out. Instead of trying to blow an asteroid out of the way, we might be able to move it using energy instead of hitting things, okay? So the same way of using energy to move something like a magnet or like, I don't want to get too deep in there. Step back, add water. All right, so the beauty, the mystery that the devil didn't want me to get across, but that water, add water, helped me get this back. So we have a God that is forever pulling us. If you think that, so the scientists that believe in just a Big Bang, boom, 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 you do believe then also that the universe is expanding. So the good thing for mankind is it's pulling us out. We used to think that we needed to go to outer space. Generation Next, no. Outer space and JC Nation, God, are pulling us out to them. This design of us going there is self-evident of the beginning of everything. And what inside of that motion internally and how our bodies work is this whole thing working at once, okay? Is this whole thing working at once and working together. That when this has this, we can do this. When this has this here, here, and here, you know, we go from being downward bull to get bucked, America. Buck up, America. When we have these 5 things working on the right side of the brain, which is flow state, and these 5 things working on the scientific side, and in all different areas and flowing together, our answers are in our minds. We're trying to look at the president, but the president, you've saved us from this by going to this, but we need energy back in our nation. And same thing with churches. I don't care how you used to do it. If you're not balancing these 5 things with upbeat, you're not getting it in. Humans, you need to have these kind of parts of your day. You need to be able to, hey buddy, I'm running a little behind. I'm in the middle of my video. Let me call you back in 5 minutes. All right. He's worried, but he'll be all right. Send a prayer to him. All right. Friend needs to ride to his doctor's appointment. I'll get him there. Okay, so what we were talking about is energy equals mass continued squared. So you got to have enough. You can point out the positives and negatives, but you got to hold the atom together by when you spin these things around each and every moment. Can you do something good? Can you do something bad? Can you clean something up? Can you grow something strong? But we have to be paying attention to these cycles. And these cycles inside of our bodies that are sick, backwards, we're throwing medicines into them when really we need to be pulling them out. And how do we pull them out? We need to be doing brain exercises with technology. We need to be doing heart rate variability exercises with our hearts. And we need to be doing lung capacity. If the capacity of our lungs has the ability to blow something out with good lungs, how do you fix it? You make better lungs. So maybe when we wake up in the morning, much like we need to have a spiritual reading, we need to have exercise, we need to have heart rate exercises, we need to have mind exercises, and we need to have lung exercises. And we need to keep an eye on our gut and what's going in there. And when we can detect these things quickly in the morning through technology, it's just like a cell phone can connect something from outer space, then bada boom, bada bing, there we go. It's a beautiful thing. It's how everything works. It must have a balance. I think I'll go on with more of this as we go down the road because the message is kind of carry on. My friend needs to get to the hospital or to the doctor's office. Everybody pray for Mike's leg. But I'll go over E equals MC squared more over the next few days so we understand this. But, sir, we're missing this part. We need some testosterone and some fun and some let's go. This ain't so hard. You let me collect. So in the third hour of this force, what I can do for you all is take questions from geniuses. Well, this creative in Indiana, 12-year-old boy thinks that if maybe we did this. So what we need to do is collect good ideas. But we're too stuck in the yesterday to get there. Mr. Kushner's cool, but I mean, y'all need somebody that can relate to the people. I like Mr. Kushner, but he ain't ready. He needs 2 months with CHAMPvinchi and a dance floor every single day. Kush, get on the dance floor, bro. Well, he got to loosen up just a little bit. But for real, but you can give me smart people like Mr. Kushner, let me be a leader and the voice of the people right here up there. And if I don't know the answer, which I don't have to have all of the knowledge, I'm this kind of person. I'll get my knowledge from elsewhere and run with it. So, Mr. President, one thing that America needs to know is we got to keep smiling and laughing and being happy. I know CNN doesn't want you to do that. But here's what I need all of America and everybody to know as we close is as soon as you tag me in, this is what it's going to be like. Oh, greatest tag team of all time. Oh, in DC, CHAMPvinchi and Trump. And my man, Mike Pierce. Tag team back again, champion of talent, let's begin. Party on, party people, let's hear some noise. DC's in the house, jump for joy. Got a party over there, wave your hands in the air, shake it there, yeah. These 3 words are getting busy, whoop. There it is, hit my 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 whoop. There it is, hit my. Hey, whoop, 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 whoop. You know, down inside out, let me show all you folks what it's all about. Old school, I'm an old fool. Whoop, there it is. Whoop, there it is. Whoop, there it is. MC squared. MC squared. Balance the electrons, balance the protons, gotta have some neutrons, gotta be the idol, gotta walk out, don't eat the apple. Next thing you know, we're in DC. Woo! Let the money flow. I've struck oil today. Invisible oil. Hey, when you think this Bible is just one portion, that's only one portion of your brain working. Children of the future, Christians of the future, understanding this. So I want to give us one recipe, take home, and one more new idea we need to add to this. And my friend Dr. Kim shared this with me. So I'm going to call it Slycerol, Slycerol, monolaurate, and it's GMC of coconut oil derivative. So coconut oil is one of the absolute best things for this endocannabinoid system. And so with coconut oil, to combine the whole idea of farming, brain health, technology, and when we can measure all these things with lit equipment, I'll be able to prove myself right on national TV, wherever y'all want. Show me my opponent. All right, so how we do this is this. They're showing that this right there, they're saying that can encompass the Convid virus. And I don't know who I can get the names of the people if y'all want it, but mark that down. They're saying that this envelops it, the oil of a coconut oil, envelops the coronavirus genes and just flushes it out. And as I've been saying about the oils in the body and the endocannabinoid system, that when these things have the appropriate oils and the oils that have this kind of balance, these three balance, which cannabis and other healthy eating products certainly do, they also increase. If you get your body healthy, you can take it higher healthy. It's only bad to be high if you're dumb. It's all, if you're high and creating new ideas and you're still healthy and you're still friendly and you can still get through your day and you're still taking care of your stuff, fly higher, eagles. E-A-G-L-E-S. How do we fly high? How do we fly high? What do we do in trouble? Fly high. When you hear that noise of sadness, when you hear that noise, a lot of you may be out there really sad right now, unemployed. Maybe you're sitting on the edge of falling back into a drug addiction. Maybe you already have. There's a hand for you sitting right here. Reach out to your representatives. I can help you. We can help spin this thing back into forward. But if you're on the edge of suicide or anything out there, you are loved. It's your body doing these three things. So get to the Bible. Get into prayer and get good food and exercise in your body. It's like this is how we beat. If something comes like this, we're going to beat it like this. We're going to push it right out. Those points that come off that nasty little chart, push them out. Pump it up. This is also that testosterone that's been eliminated by narcotic terrorism. But sir, it's not just in cocaine. Okay, we're going to talk about the PTSD of coronavirus tomorrow and how we need to prepare for that, because y'all ain't ready for that. I know you're not ready for that, but I am, all right? But we got to look at, all right, so back to this. So here's a secret, sir. I know y'all are finally looking at creative ideas. So when we take this coconut oil right here, okay, and we triple stimulus the farming package, we legalize medical and recreational cannabis, you can cut down the cannabis with this right here, sir. And it's something, I know the Christians aren't like this word, but something they call nectar of the gods. Why do they call it that? Because it balances these three and it still allows you to be aware and to be knowledgeable, but it takes over the system. So a stressful system like a coronavirus would be in these two. The terrible pain, my moaning and the terrible pain. That's what it is. And so what do? You surround it with love. All right, so that love in terms of frequency, in terms of oil firing off in our brains, I gotta go. But when you combine those two things, it's called nectar of the gods, and we can create healthy ways to, it helps kill cancer cells, it helps antioxidize the body, it helps people stay peaceful. And right now, from what I'm seeing, I've heard that the results of this are able to pull the body out. So once again, when we get healthy, America, we can do this. Tag team back again. CHAMPvinchi is gonna win. Love y'all. Gotta go.